Hello everybody. Oh, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing fantastic and that you're all doing well. The question of the day is, I want to ask you, what do you think is the best altcoin to own and why? I have a couple in my head that I think will personally do quite well over the course of this bull run. And yeah, without further ado, let's move on. So, as you might have noticed, a lot of people are they're talking about this weird thing that we've never spoken about. It's called Bitcoin. Don't know if you've heard of it, and its price and where it's going to go. The number of and I'm interested to see exactly where this is going to go as well, because a lot of altcoin price predictions have also begun to pop up as well. It's very, very fascinating, with a lot of people being even far more bullisher than I thought we could ever possibly be. But now we've gotten to the point where people are talking about patterns, and they're talking about summertime. I guess because summertime is not that far away, but for some reason it tends to be like the main topic of discussion, because before we had a lot of news about where Bitcoin's going to be by the end of the year, where Bitcoin's going to be by December, end of 2024, where's Bitcoin going to be? We've heard it all. You know the whole thing. But for some reason, so a couple of things, and then we can jump right into it. Remember I told you before that where we currently are is like a bit weird in crypto history spaceland, simply because where we are now is quite unusual. Like, there's usually a movement up going to the halving, but we normally haven't reached these numbers. We already still have not even gotten to the halving. And it's because of this that, like I said before, with patterns, people are looking at the patterns and they're looking to see where the prices were after the halving actually took place, like a couple of months after it took place, to see the actual movement. But the movements that we're experiencing are like middle bull run. And I have my own theories. I think it's because people, in essence, believe that Bitcoin is now legitimate. You know, it was totally fine before, but people needed BlackRock and Fidelity to get into the space. People are hearing a lot more about it. I would also say, now hear me out here, I think because of the state of the world and the state of finance and the state of, remember how I was telling you before, in a lot of documentaries that I was watching, whether it be people from South Korea or people from the States, doesn't even matter where, they were asking a lot of these people, what are your like financial prospects for the future? And a lot of people were like, I don't have many. A lot of these documentaries, they were talking to people who were just walking down the street. They were asking them, do you think you will ever own a home? And these people were like, no, own one? No, that's never going to happen. They're far too expensive. So they were asking these people, what do you do with your money? And they were literally just buying like luxury clothes. They were buying new cars that were also on debt and all these other things. So I think when people get a whiff of the idea that they could have proper, how do I even phrase this? That there is a chance for them maybe to not have to worry as much about money in the future from putting money into a cryptocurrency or cryptocurrencies or into the crypto market. I think it does a lot psychologically to a lot of people. And this is what I think a huge portion of the FOMO actually is that we're seeing. If you have people who are in crypto who've been there for a while, gigantic hello to everyone out there who's messaged me over the years. A lot of times, usually on Patreon, especially last year, who were telling me that like I helped them. Like, the goal of this channel is to help people. For those of you who don't know, that there's a reason why I'm not sensationalized. I'm not telling you to buy like cat with umbrella coin and all these other things, is because I want you to actually have a proper like standard when it comes to the cryptocurrency market, to understand the news, to understand what's going on, so that you're more level-headed and not simply throwing your money into 1,500 different things, hoping that one of them sticks to the wall. I'm trying to tell you like what's long-term and why Bitcoin is so significant. I mean, Bitcoin's also in the news like 9,000 days out of the year, so you kind of understand. But a lot of people were sending me messages saying that like I helped them, that they got enough money. I remember one or two people, I won't say your names for privacy's sake, but that they got enough money that they were able to like buy their own apartment. They were able to buy their own home. Like they were like, I'm moving right now because of you. And it makes me feel really, really nice that I just want to help. Like I'm here to help all of you. Back to the idea. So I think a lot of the FOMO that we see when it comes to this ends up being like an early FOMO and a late FOMO. The early FOMO are people who've looked at the market for a while. They see Bitcoin's at 35,000. They go, okay, I have to jump in right now. And they start pushing their money into the market in a multitude of different ways. The late stage FOMO comes from people who have never really invested, and they end up throwing their money into the market as we hit an all-time high. As the markets are like they're for some reason psychologically waiting for Bitcoin to go to 100K. Sure. And that's the moment that's going to really get them into the market. But these end up being the new base of what the cryptocurrency market ends up being, because these people get into the market. They sometimes they get in like towards the end of the cycle as well, like the actual stragglers. The market falls down, but they see what the market can actually do. So what I think we're witnessing now is that the last 4 or 5 years have not been the most pleasant. And I think people getting news of where these prices might go this year and next year, I think it's like lighting a flame in a lot of people that like dreams can come true. Not to sound all Disney World or cheesy, but like you understand what I mean. I can put a huge deposit down on this house. I can buy this thing that I've wanted to buy. And it's because of the market. And a lot of what's happening right now is, if you missed the last video, with the premiums in a lot of other countries, and that's passing by previous all-time highs before we even got by the US dollar high. Like this is spreading really fast. This is becoming like a real, crazy frenzy. Just because of the numbers and where they could potentially go and what it means for like, I don't care for the term building wealth. It sounds very like bougie and like pinky in the air, but a lot of people, it's something very important for the future. This article kind of just lightly rambles on. They talk about Bitcoin's price, how far it's moved. It says the price of Bitcoin has surged by more than 57% so far this year. Isn't that insane? So far this year, briefly surpassed its previous all-time high. Its rapid rise prompted comparisons to the 2021 bull run, when Bitcoin tripled in price within 3 months of breaking its previous record. The patterns that people are now bringing out are very similar to bull runs that we've had before. The term isn't issue. The situation is that some of these numbers just sound a little bit completely insane at this point. So you remember at the beginning of the year when I think it was Adam Back. The previous head of, or the current head of Blockstream, when he said, he's like, no, like Bitcoin's going to 100K by the halving, or like just after the halving. And I was like, oh boy, maybe he's a little tired. That number sounds a bit insane, because I was expecting the tail end of 2024 to hit 100K. He's like, no, I'm assuming it's going to happen by the halving, or like in the month of the actual halving. When you talk about Bitcoin tripling in price from where we currently are now, that's a bit insane. And these are numbers that are being spoken about for 2024. The interesting part is that we don't have that long to wait. A lot of, oh my gosh, remember in 2017 when a lot of the price predictions that we were getting were like, well, in 2023 and 2024, and I was like, well, that's 9,000 years away. Like, what are we supposed to be doing about that? Now we're finally here. Like the timing is far better than what we actually had before. It says analysts are cautiously optimistic about Bitcoin's future trajectory, with some predicting a potential surge into six figures, partially based on the cryptocurrency's performance during its previous bull run. The optimism stems from historical precedent. In both 2012 and 2016, Bitcoin experienced significant price rallies following similar record-breaking rallies. The idea being, one, if we had that momentum before in the past, gosh darn it, we can do it again. The situation now, though, is that couple this with two companies who have absorbed hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin, the other companies who are doing so, the other people who are getting into the market, like these movements that we're seeing are quite heavy. And I'm glad that people are like really paying attention to these things now. Of course, I assume it has to also do with the halving as well, and these companies buying up all the Bitcoin like I told you they were going to do. But if we could have that momentum years ago when the market was just fresh and brand new, we can probably far surpass that when the supply crunch for Bitcoin is getting more and more real, and we still have not even reached the halving. The long-awaited approval of the ETFs in January ushered in a period of volatility, followed by a more sustainable uptrend for crypto. With the upcoming Bitcoin halving, a pre-programmed event scheduled for next month reduces the supply of coins, yada, yada, yada. Where's the actual? There we go. Should history repeat itself? Should this all happen again? Should we see the same amount of movement and momentum? Bitcoin could potentially surpass $200,000 per coin by June. I know, I get it. Put your hand down. I understand. I said the exact same thing. Whenever I hear numbers like this, there's a portion of me that gets like really hyped. Like it's impossible. Like I can't tell you the news on a daily basis and not also get excited myself. Like it's literally impossible. But then I also sit there and I'm like, can we even hit those numbers? Like that's a really insane number for us to be at. When I first got into crypto, one of the main things that really struck me back then, it was mainly Bitcoin maximalists. When you only have a couple of coins, and Bitcoin was then and still is the market, you kind of, understand that Bitcoin is it. But when you hear the things that people were saying, this is like, and I mean, I used to watch like online videos of these people at like conferences where there were only 12, 13 people in the audience, where like hundreds of seats and no one was there listening to them. It basically followed the idea that inflation would continue. Inflation's going to get really bad. Countries are going to begin to tumble and fall because of their currency not doing well. We're going to start seeing nation states accepting Bitcoin and mining Bitcoin in secret. They would not tell us because of a fear of the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank. It was all these really weird prophetic things that all these people used to say. And I remember even hearing, this was 2017? I remember hearing, this was back when What's-His-Face was more popular. Can't remember his name. When he was talking about $1 million Bitcoin, I was like, these people are insane. I was like, there's no way that like Bitcoin can't even go past 10,000. Like, what are you talking about? Bitcoin going to $1 million. When you look at the numbers, for those of you who weren't here for that video, the amount of Bitcoin that Fidelity and BlackRock alone have on their current rate of accumulation, they're going to have over 1 million Bitcoin by winter. By winter. Just those two companies. And that's not also considering how much more MicroStrategy is buying. That's not considering how much more normal everyday people are buying. That's not considering the supply, the issuance rate getting cut in half. I can't wait till you understand the significance of it. I know that a lot of you have been here before, have been here for a while, but for those of you who are brand new, gosh darn it, you're going to understand really fast that 450 Bitcoin a day is not a lot, especially when the people who are mining it aren't selling all of it. Should history repeat itself, we could get to $200,000 by June. April, May, June. That would give us 2.5 months after the halving that we would potentially, if we're not already at 90K, going up by another 100,000 plus. It said, which would see its total market cap top $4 trillion. This is one of the tweets that was out there talking about it as well. It says, fun fact, the last time Bitcoin broke the previous cycle's all-time high, the price more than tripled in just 103 days. This would take Bitcoin to $145,000 by June if it repeated. The issue is that we already broke those numbers when we went to 69,210 or something like that, when we like broke that all-time high number. If you round it up to 70,000 and Bitcoin tripled in price in 130 days after breaking the previous all-time high, that gets us to over $210,000 per Bitcoin. But then the question becomes, if that's what happens in June, where are we by September? Are we at $250,000? Are we at $300,000 by December? That's still not 2025. So it's, like I said, it's going to be a wild ride. It's already a wild ride. Like the numbers that we're seeing daily right now are these are like bull run numbers. Like these are like, we've been in the bull run for like months now numbers. So when you finally hear me stop saying like the halving's not even here yet, the halving's not even here, like when we finally pass by the halving, it's going to get very interesting very fast. Yeah. I mean, I love seeing the optimism. Don't get me wrong. I would much rather hear in the news that Bitcoin potentially might triple in price from here, as opposed to hearing those people who years ago, oh my gosh, they were so annoying. For those of you who weren't here, there were so many people who were writing articles in these like cryptocurrency popular analysts who were telling people on YouTube and on Twitter, like, yeah, I'm sorry, like Bitcoin's going to fall back down to 7,000. And I was like, it's not. And everyone's like, TMI. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, it's not. Bitcoin's not falling back down to $2,000 because some YouTuber said so. And then guess what? It didn't. It didn't completely. Like it did not make those movements. And I won't mention names once again. Somebody just posted on Twitter a couple of hours ago. Someone who in, oh gosh, what was it? December? Very popular. They posted that like Bitcoin had to fall back down to $5,000 before it could move back up. And I was like, what? Why would Bitcoin have to do that? And people took screenshots and reposted. They were like, hey, where's the $5,000 Bitcoin? And of course the person didn't respond back because that just doesn't make any gosh darn sense. That's the, if the pattern continues, I mean, I'm wholeheartedly expecting a $100,000 Bitcoin sometime this year. 145 to 210 by summer. I'll say it this way. We'll probably all have a very good Christmas if these numbers actually persist. Yeah, that's the pattern news. Yeah. Let's move on. In popular news, and it makes me, so one, I'm not judging the person who said it. However, the fact that this became popular news was a little weird. Okay. Charles Hoskinson is back in the news. Look at that. He hasn't been in the news in a couple of weeks. I assume he went to one of his islands. Charles Hoskinson, while being famous for being the creator of Cardano, is also quite infamous in the cryptocurrency space for like arguing with people on Twitter and like having disagreements and then making YouTube videos where he like gets upset with people for not agreeing with him. You're a billionaire. It doesn't matter what other people say. Literally does not matter. You're a billionaire. You can literally go live your best life if you wanted to. However, he's back in the news to talk about when the bull run is going to begin, when alt season is finally going to fully start. Alt season, for those of you who don't know, is a weird concept that people came up with a number of years ago to say like when the altcoins are going to move up in price, as opposed to just saying bull run, bull market, bull rally. People have completely tried to separate altcoins from the rest of the market. Like literally, like think of it. Like think of the concept of there just being an alt season. Usually it just means like there's a bull run and altcoins are performing well. But for some reason we've gotten into the thing of calling it alt season. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson recently sparked a discussion within the cryptocurrency community by suggesting a humorous metric. It's actually not humorous at all. Like it's supposed to be a joke, but it's really not a joke. Suggesting a humorous metric to identify the arrival of altcoin season. Traditionally known for his focus on technological development rather than price speculation, Hoskinson's post deviated from the norm. I mean, he's not usually talking about technical anything. He's usually like arguing with someone because they didn't want to give him like a cheeseburger or something. It's always something weird on Twitter. Listen, I strive to be like Hoskinson. I want to be so rich, and I'm like, who do I get into an argument with today? Why is there no cheese on my cheeseburger? And then I want to go on like a really weird rant. Please stay with me. Like literally, stay subscribed to my channel when I become as rich as Charles Hoskinson, and I make rants about there was a butterfly that landed on my drink earlier. I'm really upset. I don't know. Maybe it's just what billionaires do. I'm not really sure. However, it did acknowledge the ongoing shift in the crypto market, where altcoins are experiencing a surge alongside Bitcoin's impressive climb. Yeah, because when Bitcoin does well, the rest of the market does well as well. It's called the bull run. And we all run together with the bulls. Sure. Here's the tweet for it right here. It's supposed to be funny, but there's not 1 ounce of humor in this. He said, "That moment Doge flips Cardano. It's officially alt season, kids." That's the joke. So you know how like sometimes when I say like, oh my gosh, like why was this really popular news? This is one of those things. Very popular because people were saying that Charles Hoskinson predicted when the bull run was going to begin. We're already in the bull run for those of you who missed that. And then I was like, Doge is not going to flip Cardano. And I looked, it's like $200 million away or something like that. Like it's not that far at all. So I think at some point Doge is actually going to flip Cardano, which is probably one of the weirdest things in the entire world for a number of reasons. The main one at the top of the mountain is Cardano's actually being used. Dogecoin is still a meme for those of you who didn't. And I don't mean like meme in like the colloquial sense, like being like, nah, dude, it's like just a meme on Instagram. No, I mean like it is a literal meme coin. There's a dog's face on it. But I mean also, who am I talking? For those of you who missed it 2 or 3 days ago, Shiba Inu, that coin became the number 10 coin. You know how many coins in the cryptocurrency space have like actual like multi-billion-dollar usage like all the time? So Dogecoin, as far as I understand, hear me out here, tell me if I'm wrong, Dogecoin has a very large community. A lot of people like it. And a lot of people like it because Elon Musk has said the words Dogecoin before. Does Dogecoin have smart contracts? I don't know. No one ever talks about, companies building on top of it. And if it does, is anyone using them? I haven't heard about whatever. I have a whole list. I have like a literal list in my head. I'm pretty sure Cardano has a lot more usage. And I mean from like a basic standpoint as a coin. Even from like, aren't there like, I think it's 5 million new Dogecoin minted every single day. I think that's the number. Dogecoin doesn't have staking. Like Cardano literally gives you like proper passive income. But the problem is that Dogecoin is probably going to pass by Cardano. I saw a lot of articles and I see a lot of people a little annoyed on Twitter that a lot of major altcoins are not doing as well as people assumed that they would be. I.e., Dogecoin and Shiba Inu are like really doing well in the market, but XRP and Cardano aren't. And the issue being is that Cardano and XRP are actually like being used. and I mean, even as far as like there are countries who are even like writing and using things like for Cardano specifically. Like we've heard about them over the last couple of years. They may not be like major countries, but it's still a country. And as far as I know, no country is writing their laws or their supply chains on top of Doge. So just throwing that out there. A lot of price predictions for Cardano as well floating around. It says, can Cardano hit $10 this bull cycle? I mean, yes, I mean, logically it should. I completely assumed that Cardano, along with many other used altcoins, would be performing far better than they currently are. Like the fact that Cardano isn't even above $2 or $3 right now is like actually kind of weird. A lot of the bull predictions that we were getting before for Cardano ranged around like $10 to $15. Maybe it'll happen after the halving. A lot of the momentum that we are seeing right now is namely coming from Bitcoin. Like when you talk about the actual supply crunch and how little that there currently is, it does make a lot of sense that a large spotlight is nearly exclusively on Bitcoin. And then we also have the attention that's also being given to Ethereum because of the upcoming upgrade and the actual, the air quotes, the potential ETFs that we might also get for Ethereum as well. And when Ethereum does well, the altcoins also do well as well. But whenever we get to the 2020, how do I say it? The 2017-2021 phase of the market, altcoins tend to do well no matter what. But I feel like a lot of the coins that are being used should definitely be doing a lot better. Like I'm seeing a lot of, I'll say this nicely, I'm seeing a lot of chatter about a lot of really crappy coins, and I don't mean Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. Like memes, okay, but a lot of other really bad coins, I've seen them pumping in price, and I'm like, yeah, something weird is happening with the market, but we'll see. It says, if history repeats, top analyst says Cardano is set for a $10 rally. Do it. Just, I think a lot of people are waiting. Wasn't there supposed to be an upgrade for Cardano sometime in March? I haven't seen any articles about it. I remember reading in January that something was coming. They were working on the multicolored, what do you call it? Test nets. I'm pretty sure it was March or April where the upgrade was supposed to happen. And I remember remarking on it because, oh my gosh, like it's happening as the halving is happening. So cool. Yeah. I think that's going to do it for this video. A lot of weird stuff happening in this market. I mean, it's all very exciting, but a lot of times it's like lightly overwhelming just because of how many things are happening at once. Do hope you've all enjoyed. Do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. This wasn't a joke. Like this is literally like, can someone explain to me how this was supposed to be a joke? Like there's clearly like a meme of Batman here, but that's not. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.